The Bledisloe Cup is at stake at Stadium Australia tonight. The Wallabies have held this since 1998. The All Blacks desperately want it back. And there's a capacity crowd of 109,000 in attendance on a beautiful evening in Sydney to witness what should be a memorable test match. The All Blacks coming out for their 4th test match of the season. The opener against Tonga, 2 against Scotland. But this is the real test in this wonderful theatre, which in a couple of months' time will host the Olympic Games in the year 2000. But tonight, rugby is the centre point of discussion as the All Blacks and the Wallabies prepare to come onto this ground at Murray Mexted. Tremendous tension around the ground. Nobody quite knows what to expect.
It's interesting, isn't it, talking to both sides, Australians and New Zealanders. There's no one who's prepared to stand up and say one team's definitely going to win this game. There's nothing in it, really. It's a heavyweight bout without any shadow of a doubt, and it's early in the season for this sort of contest.
Enormous speculation around too as to how this game will be played. The All Blacks have showed their hands in the previous 3 test matches. There are the reserve players, and we're certain to see most of them during the game. Tony Brown there, number 17. Leon McDonald. Troy Flavel, what an impact he's made in his first season as an All Black. Veteran with the headband on there, Craig Dowd. Byron Kelleher in number 18. It's a balmy evening, in direct contrast to the way it was 12 months ago when it absolutely poured down, certainly in the second half of the game. And here comes Todd Blackadder, and they'll get a good welcome on. There's a lot of Kiwis here at Stadium Australia.
Stand by, ladies and gentlemen, to
10 of this All Black side were here in August last year when the Wallabies had a resounding victory. The changes come in midfield where Pita Alatini plays his first Bledisloe Cup test, and in the pack where the Crusaders trio of Cribb, Robertson and Blackadder make their first appearance at the Olympic Stadium. The changes from Eden Park several weeks back: Alatini for Robinson, Robertson for Kronfeld, and Randall for Thorne, and Todd Blackadder is the All Black captain. Big night tonight for Scott Robertson, preferred to Josh Kronfeld. Tana Umaga, never really shown his best form against Australia. Big chance to rectify that tonight.
Well, there he is, John Eales, a great leader, a highly successful leader for Australia, leading his team well, calm and composed and confident.
It's an Australian side that has vast experience in key areas on the field. Close to the scrum, Gregan and Larkham have clocked up close to 100 test matches between them. In midfield, Jason Little has been around for a decade, while loose forward David Wilson and lock John Eales both played in more than 70 test matches. The All Blacks were sure to put pressure on tight head prop Fletcher Dyson, playing in just his 4th test match. And John Eales, after missing last season's Tri-Nations, is the Australian skipper. Chris Latham standing in, one would say, for Matthew Burke, but I think Burke will have a lot of trouble getting back in.
Well, he's had an outstanding season, Latham. I don't think he's ever been under this sort of pressure before. It'll be interesting to see how he comes through. Mortlock as well.
Tense time for some of these All Blacks, playing in their first really big test match.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the singing of the national anthems. This evening, the New Zealand anthem, God Defend New Zealand, will be sung by Nicola Waite, Advance Australia Fair by John Williamson.
Magnificent from Nicola Waite, and now John Williamson with the Australian national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Well, the picture tells the story. There's a sea of gold. Very relaxed national anthem. They've got their own way, the Australians.
John Williamson will come into play in just a few moments too, after the haka from the All Blacks with Waltzing Matilda. But let's focus now on the haka to be led by Tane Randall. They got right into it too, did the All Blacks.
So take that.
And just a quick look too at the reserves for this evening. And the All Blacks have two players in there who've had more than 50 test matches, Josh Kronfeld and Craig Dowd. And there's the Wallabies reserves. And one player in particular, Tana Kefu, we're sure to see him. And Andrew Walker, it'll be debut of the night for him if he makes it on.
Well, it's a great scene, isn't it? doesn't really do it for me, quite frankly. I prefer the haka.
Well, we certainly know we're in Australia. There's the referee for tonight's contest, Andre Watson of South Africa, assisted by Chris White of England and Pablo De Luca of Argentina. And we're almost set to go. All the words have been spoken. And we're about to have this long-awaited contest. Peter Alatini in midfield. Stadium Australia, away we go in the first Bledisloe Cup test of the new millennium as Justin Marshall takes it down for the All Blacks. And Tane Randall is going to deputise at halfback, looking for Andrew Mehrtens, but Randall straight up the middle. What a great start, 10-metre line All Black territory. Now the All Blacks need to get their back line in formation. Marshall a bit slow to get there. Now he sends it off to Mehrtens. Early kick. Chris Latham in good position though, but he's outside the 22. Got a very educated left boot. Randall and Cribb getting back. Randall's been in the action early. Now Ron Cribb. Happy to have a run. Back to where Randall took it to, the 10-metre line in this long opening sequence. And referee Watson says, well, have a scrum. But what a start by Tane Randall.
What a start. Not much went to plan, though, really. A halfback, scrum half, catching the ball from the kickoff, highly unusual. And seeing Randall burst through the centre, playing in the halfback position.
Great battle in the scrums tonight. The All Blacks feel that they will have some ascendancy there. Cribb has been shut down early. It's there again for Marshall. Mehrtens has it partially charged, but it could work to the All Blacks' advantage. Alatini, ball popped up. Umaga, here's the first try. And Tana's under the bar.
Well, what a way to score your first try against Australia. The first one that he's dotted down. And look at that crowd. Funny things can happen with a rugby ball. A little charge down. The bounce and the loose pass. Have a look at this. So easily it could have gone the other way. Comfortable bounce for Latham. But the pressure was on Latham. Umaga read it beautifully. And it was all over once he gathered the ball. Pretty casual the way he placed the ball behind the goal post.
He tried to pass it, Latham, and it was an intercept. There he tried to flip it, and Umaga anticipated. And the sprint of 45 metres, the try under the bar for Tana Umaga, his first against Australia, converted by Mehrtens, 7-0. And what a great start, Smithy.
Absolutely magic, Nisbo, from an All Black point of view. Conditions couldn't be better here. Just a little bit worried about the playing surface. I think some of it's been relayed. It was noticeable on the curtain raiser that some of the scrums cut it up a wee bit, but didn't stop the pace of Tana Umaga. They've been talking so much about Lomu and Mortlock during the week. They forgot about Umaga over here. They should forget about him no more.
He scored in every test match this season as the kickoff is made. Mehrtens has control of this. Ieremia. All Blacks with a 7-point advantage. Handed away by Umaga. They're shifting it smartly. Now Lomu's in the clear. One-on-one. Gregan comes across. He's got support. Alatini. Fantastic.
Well, it's almost too good to be true. I'm speechless. Sensational try by New Zealand. Absolutely superb. But watch the way the ball was moved so well. Always keeping it alive. And Alatini finishing off. Perfect start for New Zealand. Couldn't have hoped for anything more. A couple of great passes here under pressure, putting Lomu in space. And once the big man got away, well, that's another psychological blow because he beat Chris Latham. So Chris Latham, hard start for him.
Now Andrew Mehrtens. The first one was easy. This one a little bit wider out. No problems. 14 points to 0.
Well, Murray, you'd love it down here. 100 that 9,000 people, there's 90,000 of them with yellow caps on, and they're sitting here like stunned mullets. Beautiful.
Hey, Smithy, I love it up here. No, but I think it's absolutely superb. This crowd is speechless.
5 minutes gone, 14 points to 0. Lomu set it up. Brilliant passing. This is not going to go 10 metres. Play on as Maxwell takes it in, carried on. All Blacks totally dominant at the moment. Now Marshall away for Mehrtens. Ieremia almost slipped, did it, got it away to Alatini. Cullen won't stop him either. Unbelievable start. 3 tries in 6 minutes.
Well, sometimes it just happens. Well, deliriously happy, aren't they? Beautiful little break by Ieremia and kept the ball alive. Alatini feeding Cullen on the outside. It was all over Rover. The Australians haven't touched the ball yet in this game. Just that little pass from Latham that was intercepted. Everything coming off, everything that New Zealand tries comes off.
35th test try for Christian Cullen. That equals John Kerwin. And the All Blacks can't believe it. Mehrtens lifts another one through. 3 converted tries in 6 minutes. 21 points to 0.
It's interesting, that comment, Grant. The All Blacks can't believe it. I'm sure those players on the field, their minds are on what they're doing. They're not thinking, wow, we're 3 tries up.
Larkham makes sure he gets the 10 metres. Down as far as Ron Cribb. All Blacks just out from their 22. Everything they've done so far, I was going to say, has turned to goal. Maybe that's not quite right. Now Mehrtens, Ieremia, Umaga. This time they get in and make some tackles, the Wallabies. Marshall, we've still got an overlap here. Here we go again. Lomu, he's got Cullen with him. He could go all the way, holding off Gregan, who finally makes a brave tackle. Lomu snaps it up and goes again. All Blacks rampaging. Now, Umaga needs some support. Blackadder gets there to tidy up. 15 out right in centre field. Going wide to Cribb. Running out of support now. Umaga tries to flick it to Randall. Still inside the 22. Wallaby down injured as the All Blacks get it back again. Now Carl Hoeft. Ieremia. Referee's playing advantage. Penalty right out in centre field. And this could make it 24-0.
A great passage of defence by Australia. Started with a tremendous tackle by George Gregan, pulling down Jonah, who looked to me like he was on one of those runs that would finish under the opposition goalposts. Just George to beat here. Have a look. So he just hung on for dear life to Jonah's arm. But there was a series of attacking phases, and the Australians were equal to it.
Well, Murray just saw the class here. It's been all the All Blacks, but the class of George Gregan, as he really did make the pass from Cullen inside, an impossibility for Lomu early on. It was a brilliant piece of defending. It's easy for Andrew Mehrtens again, but George Gregan there, well, he saved 4 points at least for the Wallabies.
It's amazing what 12 months can do. Remember, last year the All Blacks started pretty well. Mehrtens got an early try, but in the finish they were overwhelmed. 28 points to 7. Just look at this scoreline. 8.5 minutes into the game, 24 points to 0, and that will barely go 10 metres. In fact, it wouldn't if Maxwell had left it alone. Now the Wallabies have got the ball and a big cheer goes up. Jason Little takes it to the 10-metre line. Now Gregan off to Larkham, and Larkham side the three. And Mortlock for the corner. This is a try fest.
And touche. Well, it's a great team that can answer back, looking at the scoreboard of 21-0. to answer back with a try, the only way to answer what was a rampant start to this game by an All Black side. So Larkham an eye for the gap, making the gap, drawing the last man, feeding Mortlock on the outside. That'll make the Australian crowd and team feel like they're in this match.
Very first time they had the ball, and it was Stephen Larkham, the danger man, and Stirling Mortlock, who's had to make, or try to make, some big tackles already tonight, finally gets his hands on the ball and gets a try, which he'll try and convert. His third try in Test rugby.
Well, that'll be a morale booster for Stirling Mortlock, of course. Not good under pressure in the Super 12 final, where he folded. He started this game with a try and a conversion.
And a message behind the goal line from Blackadder there. We can't be too casual. Mistake there of communication between Mehrtens and Ieremia. Larkham through.
Mehrtens, an excellent kick out, gives the All Blacks a chance to get there. Taken down by John Eales. Now Gregan, Larkham. Oh, Mortlock got it, and they got him at the same time. Did very well to hang on. And Larkham this time will be forced to kick, rather reluctantly, one would suspect. Cribb waits back with Cullen. Now, what can they conjure up from the back? Cullen is well held, 5 metres on the Australian side of halfway, but the All Blacks have regrouped quickly. And Mehrtens pushing it down for Chris Latham. Dangerous counter-attacker, Latham. Mehrtens waiting, looking out wide. Good support, though, from Randall, who's had a strong start. Just in Wallaby territory. And some good, healthy rucking going on there. And Andre Watson quite happy. Wayne Smith in the middle, Peter Thorburn there on the left, and Tony Gilbert. And looks like David Wilson, I think, copped some All Black rucking. Or maybe Mark Connors.
Well, we heard the referee saying roll away number 7. Connors, of course, is number 6. And it gives the impression, of course, that one of the Wallaby players was stopping the ball from coming back New Zealand side and got dealt to, I guess.
12 minutes into the game, 24 points to 7. Marshall looks for Umaga on the inside. Scored the first of 3 tries so far. Beautiful delivery again for Marshall. At least to Alatini. 5 on the Wallaby side of halfway. All Blacks ball retention so far has been outstanding. Ieremia has gone down on his haunches as Cribb puts the little nudge through. Getting back in cover was Jim Williams. Now Larkham away for Joe Roff. You almost expect a try every time either side gets the ball, as Latham looks for a gap up the middle. They're 15 out from the 22 now. Larkham off for Jason Little. All Black defence strong out on the right wing side. Gregan moves it away to Roff as he slips past a couple. Finally brought down by Justin Marshall. And a big defence on the blind side, and the All Blacks have won the line-out throw.
Well, there's certainly been a try-fest in this game, but it's not characteristic for clashes between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. The last 3 occasions, New Zealand has only scored 1 try in each of those games. Defence by the Wallabies and also by this All Black team, very strong. It's just been a sensational start.
Well, in boxing parlance, the All Blacks have caught the Wallabies cold. Blackadder, as the Aussies shout out for not straight. Doesn't work with Andre Watson, though. Alatini. Mehrtens plays it at halfback. Now Lomu. Well held this time, almost to the 10-metre line. Marshall organising the forces right and left. Off to Mehrtens. Now Umaga. Always a danger. Slips it to Maxwell. Straight up the middle. Marshall. Now Case Muse. All the All Blacks getting involved as they lead by 24-7. Marshall. Ieremia. Robertson. Tackling is better now from the Wallabies. And it was stolen away, but it was a player who was on the ground. Right in front of Andre Watson. And Jim Williams is penalised. And this is kickable.
So Robertson making the drive, going forward, putting his body and the ball in the right place. There's Williams. Well, Williams was on his feet, but was taken and was sort of taken in the tackle and continued to play the ball. It's a marginal call, I thought, by the referee.
Lovely story about Jim Williams. Couldn't get a ticket to this game last year. Watched the game in the Concord Hotel. So anybody who's watching this game in the Concord Hotel tonight, maybe you've got a chance of playing in next year's game.
Okay. And the ruck's been set up yet?
Well, there's a stunned crowd here. Who would have ever thought? 24 points to 7 after 20 minutes of play.
Andrew Mehrtens, 9 points already this evening, and this time he's way to the right. Drops the head. Realised a great opportunity for another 3 points. Still 24-7.
So there it is, 71% New Zealand possession.
Mehrtens off to Umaga. Met on halfway. All Blacks playing with immense confidence. Mehrtens slips it to Blackadder. Good tackle made on him though by Richard Harry. Now it starts to break down behind the advantage line, but the All Blacks have regrouped smartly. They still have possession. Coming now for Justin Marshall. Mehrtens onto Umaga. Gap opened up. Tried to flick it off to Maxwell. Now Larkham in possession. And the Wallabies have a chance just on their own side of halfway. Richard Harry used to be a loose forward, so he can run a bit. Gets into All Black territory. And now Gregan off to Eales, wasn't expecting it. And runs into a brick wall, but the All Blacks are offside.
Well, a crucial turnover going Australia's way. It's resulted in an opportunity. Yes, well, Richard Harry lying prone on the ground. As you say, used to be a loose forward. Not much of a prop, according to Richard Lowe. They're horrified over here, of course, about the comments that Richard bluntly made about the Wallaby front row, or lack of.
Big front-on tackle by Alatini. Then Krug got in to assist. And the Wallabies, not shooting for goal, have taken the ball down to inside the 22. And Michael Foley, the hooker, to throw.
Well, we haven't been able to see much pattern as far as tactics so far in this game. It's been helter-skelter, utilisation of ball, but we might see a little bit now.
John Eales, the target. Good throw from Foley. Foley delivers off to Gregan. Slips it off to Jim Williams. Then opens up for Williams. Lomu partially stops him. Almost there. Now Gregan looking wide. Mortlock's in. What a game this is. A second try for Stirling Mortlock.
Don't ever underrate a World Cup winning side. Australia back in this game fully. 2 good tries to answer. A blistering start by New Zealand. Well worked too, with Foley playing halfback and Gregan playing standoff, giving an extra man, putting Williams through the hole. A little bit of weak tackling, I thought, but this was well worked. Gregan, the vision to move it wide. Mortlock hitting it at top. You'll see it on this angle better, but it was well done by Williams. Todd Blackadder pulled off the big tackle finally.
Well, Murray, you're quite right in saying that there was some weak tackling. In fact, I would say both coaches would be very disappointed the first 20 minutes of this test match to see those 5 tries on the board, all resulting from the fact that both sides are good finishers and they can really take toll of any poor defence, and that's what's happened. 5 mistakes, 5 tries.
Not this time for Mortlock, but he scored all the points for Australia so far. The 2 tries and the conversion. And from 24 points to 0, the Wallabies have pulled it back to 24-12. Change of jersey for George Gregan, as Mehrtens goes short this time. Giffin can't hold it, knocked into the arms of the All Blacks. Case Muse, and they're back in possession. They fan out to the right. Marshall delivers off to Mehrtens. Ieremia. Alatini almost had it and knocked it forward. Looking dangerous in midfield and really testing Jason Little and Daniel Herbert.
Yes, Pita Alatini not able to hold that pass, but he's so dangerous, that little shuffle. So often beats a player, but it was Ieremia that made the half break and gave the pass.
Now it's the Wallaby backs. Larkham shovels it up to Mortlock. He's so strong, but Ron Cribb hit him hard on the angle. Taken away by Williams, who's having a storming game in the number 8 jersey. Now Gregan delivers wide for Larkham. Cullen and Larkham, and the ball wins the race. 2 of the outstanding figures in world rugby, Stephen Larkham and Christian Cullen, on a collision course.
Well, that's pretty interesting statistic, isn't it? New Zealand shading on territory just. The Wallaby team certainly back into this game, playing the game in New Zealand territory the last 10 minutes.
Anton Oliver over the head of Ron Cribb. Throw is no good. David Wilson gets away from Mehrtens. The Wallabies take it to centre field. Now Larkham. Little up to Larkham again. Ieremia makes the tackle. Now Gregan. Mortlock charging hard. Harry tips it on with the boot. Play on. And Christian Cullen gets the kick away, but it's not out. Chris Latham. Now Joe Roff. Spinning it wide to Larkham. All Blacks have come across those strongly. And it's a big defence. The tackle made by Maxwell. And not released. A thunderous tackle by Norm Maxwell.
It was a thunderous tackle, but the penalty was playing the ball on the ground. Larkham had a go, it wasn't on. Robertson was there also, and let's have a look. Yes, well, Larkham continues to play the ball, continuing to make it available.
Mehrtens' kick is a good one.
So dare I say it, the first line out with the New Zealand throw inside Wallaby territory. And the game is 23 minutes old. So it's a great perspective, a great view from this camera angle. So let's have a look at it. We were watching these players in the car park at the hotel today, having their traditional warm-up for line-outs.
They go to Randall again. The throw from Oliver's not good. And again, it's Wilson getting past Mehrtens for the second time. It was an action replay on a different part of the field. Wallabies have got a line up here. Mark Connors. Now Mortlock hasn't got the pace to get through Lomu. Latham shoveled it on and knocked it on. And the All Blacks' bacon has been saved. Goodness gracious, it all came from a poor line-out throw.
Yes, I was watching the line-outs in the hotel, and I thought they all looked fairly tight, fairly comfortable. Great little breakout by Australia. Have a look at the defence of Lomu on Mortlock. He hung, forced the pass, and then drove Mortlock out towards touch. It was good defence by Lomu, who was the sole defender. That camera angle didn't really show how well he did it. So often it's been a criticism, of course, but he did everything right on that occasion.
This game totally defying the normal traditions of tight Bledisloe Cup matches. 5 tries already and many more opportunities too.
Well, and I think about a world record crowd at a rugby union match, and what a treat for everybody in the stadium.
What a spectacle it's been so far, as Justin Marshall hands it off to Andrew Mehrtens. Beautiful spiralling kick. Mortlock on his own 10-metre line. Latham, the All Blacks coming up in a line. Latham pushing it ahead. Lined up by Blackadder. Beautiful work by the All Black captain.
Outstanding.
As they set it nicely for Justin Marshall. Saw a gap. Showing good power, Marshall. Cribb goes into play in Marshall's position. Flicks it back inside to Carl Hoeft.
7 was on his feet. This time he's holding on.
So Mr. Watson vigilant in that area of the ruck. Scott Robertson penalised for playing the ball off his feet. So Hoff set it up. You see Robertson went in there. Well, we can't see. I don't know how Andre Watson could see either. Quite frankly, he was on this side.
15 minutes out from half-time. And the game has just continued at this frenetic pace. Chris Latham puts it inside the All Black 22. And the Wallabies can launch again. Well claimed by Eales. That pass appeared to be forward. Referee said it was okay though. Cleared away again by Gregan. Jason Little has a crack in midfield. Now Joe Roff. Wallabies threatening. Larkham. All Blacks offside. Daniel Herbert had the hand up for a moment anyway. Now here comes Latham. Third try for the Wallabies. Chris Latham, the fullback.
Well, how the tables have turned. What a game of rugby. Tit for tat. The call and the answer. Georgie Gregan just moving the ball around. Each Wallaby searching for a hole, for a gap, setting it up, and Latham hit it at top. The momentum took him through the tackle. There it is. See the timing of the run onto the ball. Timing is everything.
Just his 10th test match, Chris Latham. 8 tries, and Mortlock from a very handy position. Through it goes. 24 points to 19 as Latham limps back. The Wallabies staging a remarkable comeback.
Tremendous test and challenge for the New Zealand side. This new all-back combination. How will they react under this pressure, this growing pressure? Will they win a bit of possession and retain it?
Maxwell charges through. Tipped on the all-back side. Marshall can't get it. Oliver does, though. Here's Wilson bursting through. Now Gregan. Larkham threw it straight into Maxwell, and the referee's playing advantage. Still there, though, for the Wallabies. Now Jason Little. 10-metre line, back for Richard Harry.
Lazy runners coming back. No advantage.
And he said that Norm Maxwell was a lazy runner, whatever that means.
Lazy runners, stay out of the way.
Well, Norm doesn't agree. Well, you hardly blame Norman Maxwell. Didn't justify a penalty, but anyway. Remarkable recovery from Australia, absolutely remarkable. And once again going for the touchline, not opting for the kick at goal. And why not with the ease they've scored tries? Putting themselves in an outstanding position, but John Eales, of course, the king.
Well, the black section of the crowd has just gone a little quiet for the moment. Foley finding Eales. No problems in the line-out for the Wallabies. Taking it to the All Blacks. 15 metres out now. Gregan off for Larkham. Little. Williams is there in support. Now Gregan off to Daniel Herbert. Now Mark Connors, who scored a try in this test match last season. Gregan quickly for Larkham. The All Blacks having made a lot of tackles in the last 10 minutes or so. Gregan again feeds it off to Daniel Herbert. Carried on by Williams. Goal line right there for George Gregan. Richard Harry, the prop.
The ball probably a little slow.
Now Gregan again. Larkham. Continue to move it to the left. Gregan has a go. Roff. Alatini made a big tackle in there, but it's still alive for the Wallabies. Gregan. Roff. They've done it again. And Joe Roff makes it 4 tries each.
Well, what a confident sight this Australian team is when they have possession. I think that has to be the key for New Zealand, to keep hold of the ball when they have it rather than spill it. The defence was quite strong, but eventually the break came, and here it is, the finish of it. Well, maybe shielding.
He hasn't had a great time against New Zealand over the years, Joe Roff. It's only his second try in his 20th test match.
Well, interesting, John Eales taking the kick at goal here. He was perhaps guilty there of shielding. Well, Joe Roff got on the outside of him. Last week, the Wallabies scored 27 unanswered points against the Springboks. They're heading for that target, round about that target against the All Blacks. That's why they're the world champions.
This kick to give the Wallabies the lead. Could you believe that? Not going to do that. It's 24 each.
So the game starts from scratch right now. So New Zealand needing to recover this kickoff. Make their presence felt again. Put their mark on the game.
Still 7 minutes remaining in the first half. One of the most incredible halves of Bledisloe Cup rugby. Larkham to be forced to kick, and it's a wobbly old kick too.
So here's the opportunity for New Zealand. Throw.
Murray, on previous New Zealand throws, they've been using Mark Connors down the front of the line out to counter Todd Blackadder and using more height at the back.
And I noticed at line-out training this morning they were using Ron Cribb a lot. Ron Cribb towards the end of the line-out.
Maxwell cleanly this time. A couple of the All Black backs of forwards have taken off out into the back line. Cribb and Robertson have both gone, disappeared, as Oliver takes it up.
Up too early, get your timing right.
And is playing advantage was Andre Watson, as away goes Justin Marshall with the tap. In goes Mehrtens. Now Alatini. Standing very flat, and I think they've got to be offside. In fact, Watson has said yes, they were far too flat. Jason Little miles offside.
Interesting call here for Todd Blackadder. Does he take the 3 points?
There you go.
Or does he retain the impetus that New Zealand has very briefly in the last couple of minutes?
No, I'm all right, thanks, Steve.
I guess when there's a man like Mehrtens who's kicked as many goals as he has against Australia,
No, I got that. I don't think so. Okay.
you take the 3 points.
No, they can't.
Chance for the All Blacks to just take stock. Chance for Todd Blackadder to say a few words. Marshall held on as long as possible, but the Wallabies crept up a mile offside.
Well done by Ron Cribb the way he rolled and continued to roll so the ball would be left on the New Zealand side. But that's where the penalty came, was the hand, the Wallaby hand.
It's another one away to the left this time for Andrew Mehrtens. So the pressure is showing all over the place. 24 all. Well, remember the test match in Dunedin a few years ago when the All Blacks ran up 36 points. The Wallabies got 24 in the second half. Randall hands it off to Marshall. Case Muse can't hang on. It went back though. So it's tidied up by Blackadder. Now Ieremia. It's on the Wallaby side with Gregan. Off to Herbert. The All Blacks need to muster the defence out wide. Larkham away for Latham. Umaga takes him. 10-metre line All Black territory. Now Gregan away again for Larkham. Mark Connors out in midfield. Now Larkham once more. A little probing away here with George Gregan. Larkham lays it back. Gregan cleverly flips it off the ground for Roff. Calling it little on the inside. Still 10 out from the 22. Roff again for Larkham. All Blacks making tackle after tackle. Now Jason Little, 22-metre line. Advantage being played with Joe Roff. Latham was right up in the middle of it there. Now Williams having a towering game, and there's a knock on, and they'll go back for the penalty.
Playing the ball in the tackle, slowing it down, and successfully so.
So the key, of course, to the Wallaby game, which is rather like the Brumbies game, is retention of possession phase after phase. And they do it so well. They all gather around the ball, just take it on, grind away until a mistake is made by the opposition defence. A break comes. And this time, of course, it's a penalty. And they'll take the 3 points, I guess.
John Eales doing the goal kicking on the left-hand side of the field, it would seem. No forward has scored any more points in Test rugby than this man, John Eales. Two minutes out from half-time. He's made a hash of it too. So the goal kicking in the last 20 minutes has been rather average. And we're still locked up. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first spell.
Taking out, get it out. Taking out. Time out. Okay.
Mehrtens threatening to go long with the kick. Instead goes short. He has to get in and try and get it himself. Not successful though, and David Wilson has claimed it for the Wallabies. Could be a costly mistake as Gregan off to Larkham, back to Gregan. Does well to cover up and shows his absolute class, George Gregan. There was nothing else on.
Nothing else on. It gives New Zealand an opportunity to win the ball and hold on to it. Yes, there's the mistake. So not a man behind Gregan there, 3 defenders. So let's have a look at the Anton Oliver line-out throw. So look at the territory now, favouring Australia quite clearly, and possession as well.
Going deep this time, down as far as Tane Randall. Mehrtens, we didn't see this much kicking in the first 3 test matches. Mortlock on his own 10-metre line, really struggling, and then runs into some very solid defence. Gregan gets back though. Latham has nipped round behind him. Now Roff gets it beautifully out wide. Chance for Daniel Herbert to stretch the legs. Now Jason Little, just seconds before the break. Larkham, what hands from Roff. Now Williams, and Cullen's tackle has knocked the ball down, and it was lost forwards. And just as the hooter sounds, and that'll bring to an end a memorable first half. The All Blacks got out to 24 points to 0. Then the Wallabies came out. They replied 24 all. Talk about a half of 2 halves.
Well, a pulsating 40 minutes, and fairly at the end of the stage shared honours, I would say. Full of drama, full of tries, the ecstasy and the agony. You couldn't ask for much more.
Inside this is Stadium Australia on a beautiful evening in Sydney, and what a memorable first 40 minutes we've had in the Bledisloe Cup Test. 24 each after the All Blacks led by 24 to 0 after just 6 or 7 minutes. Now let's have a look at the stats, Murray.
Well, the stats show very clearly that New Zealand has come second to Australia in the first half in just about every department. The big one for me, rucks and mauls, 47-32. That's what it's about, isn't it? Retaining possession for a long period of time, creating the phases. Now, if you allow Australian side as competent as this to have that sort of possession advantage, 60% advantage, they're going to score tries, and the same thing will probably happen in the second half. So it's all about possession. The stage is certainly set for a great second half. What will unfold is ahead of us.
8 penalties conceded in the first spell. As the Wallabies come back, the All Blacks have been out there for some time, just having a quick look around, and it doesn't look to me as though there have been any changes in the All Blacks side. We'll just confirm that with Smithy shortly. But I think there might be a change in the Wallaby team, but we'll get that confirmation from Smithy in just a moment or so. Andre Watson slowly coming back. And Smithy, any changes?
Well, it has been a change in the hooking role for Australia. Foley is off, and it looks like he's taking his place on the reserves bench. Jeremy Paul on in jersey 22. No changes at this stage for the All Blacks. Doc Mayhew just whispered in my ear they're a wee bit stunned, and they know that this first 20 minutes of the second half is so crucial to the match. Mistake-free rugby is what they need.
Absolutely crucial. Well, selection, of course, is an iterative process, isn't it? You don't know what the result's going to be until the combinations take place on the field. I don't think it's the right time to make changes for New Zealand. They haven't really created or established a game plan yet in this game, but it's a perfect opportunity now.
So one change to the Wallabies. Jeremy Paul has come in for the second 40 minutes. Michael Foley didn't do much wrong. He got his line-out throws right. David Wilson, Scott Robertson leading the chase to the loose ball. What is in store in the second half? As Andre Watson gets us going, Mehrtens goes long, and Jason Little is the first man to touch the ball. Now Gregan for Larkham. Solid defence on Daniel Herbert. Jim Williams, who really has made his mark in this game. Now Larkham away for a little, reluctant to kick it, and does well to get out of a couple of tackles. Placed by Paul. Latham has support there from his captain standing out wide. Very nearly lost the ball forward. Now Larkham, they really are playing Brumby style rugby here, just holding the ball. They've brought it out from their own 22. Now Mark Connors. Here's Williams again, really providing the impetus and the strong running as Larkham flicks it back. Williams is well covered this time. And the Wallabies getting a very definite touch on the ball early in the second half. Now Gregan away for Larkham. A little as well held by Alatini. Mehrtens in there to help. Happy just to take a few metres at a time. Now Larkham changes it all, and Umaga and Cullen have to get back. Now what will the All Blacks' attitude be? Lomu standing out very wide. He'll get away from Giffin, no doubt. And around Williams, the kick and chase. Lomu and Cullen couldn't hang on, and here comes the counter-attack with Joe Roff. Nobody at the back, of course, although Mehrtens is scampering across. And in the end, he lets it go. Well, a thrilling start to the second half. Counter-attack from the All Blacks.
Thrilling being the operative word. It started with the Wallabies. 11 phases before the little kick from Larkham. And this is the result of the kick, a counter-attack. Well read. Lomu did everything right. And so often, Cullen would have gathered the kick. He didn't quite. And the result is deep inside All Black territory, New Zealand throw.
Accuracy in the lineouts will have been another message, I'm sure, from Wayne Smith at half-time. They didn't always get it right in the first spell, and they haven't got it right there either, as the Wallabies grab one against the throw. But they've turned it over to the All Blacks as Case Muse has tidied up. So they've got out of jail for the moment anyway. Mehrtens shovels on Alatini. They've got an overlap here. Awful pass though, but Lomu trying to get around Mortlock. Away he goes and can't get it back in field, throws it forwards. Mortlock did well to stick with him. Kronfeld warming up on the bench.
Well, Mortlock will be very happy with that. A great confidence booster for him. Lomu seemingly the gas on the outside. Let's have a little look what happened. A half-pie fend. It was good persistent stuff.
Here comes Josh.
Yes, it's for Scott Robertson as well, but no surprise with the number change. A little early in the second half, Kronfeld could not wait to get out there.
Well, he could well be the man of the moment. Josh Kronfeld, with all his worldly experience and his undoubted quality as an open side flanker in a game that's guaranteed to have phase after phase. The only way to stop a team in possession, of course, is to create a turnover. So often the open side flanker is part of that process.
Toutai Kefu also looking to come on. It would be a major surprise if Jim Williams came off. He really has been a star performer. Free kick against the All Blacks, but Gregan back to the mark. So how do you read that loose forward situation for the Aussies?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Kefu, of course, made a great impact when he came on against South Africa, but Jim Williams has had such a storming game.
Now Gregan for Larkham, Jason Little, all that experience in midfield. All Blacks felt that pass went forward. Larkham again skirts away. Here's the break, but oh boy, that was the end of that. Now at least a little away for Larkham. They'll take him to the touchline. And he's got Norm Maxwell here for something. Let's see what he's got to say.
If you can't stop, listen to me, if you can't stop interfering, then stay that side. You're spoiling their ball. You're lazy running and spoiling him. Stay out of it. Lazy running, it's an interesting expression, lazy running. Straight out of the referee's handbook, I'm sure. Great tackle from Lomu, wasn't it? Driving him backwards. Let's have a little look at lazy running.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that at all. The pedantic Mr. Watson, in my mind.
Well, I can solve your loose forward problem for Australia. It will be David Wilson. That was his last touch. He will be replaced. So 19, Kefu on for David Wilson, leaving the park in 7. And what an ovation he is receiving.
Well, he's been a great trooper over the years. 76th test match tonight for David Wilson, but he's out of it. And the game continues. Wallabies only 5 metres away. Now Williams. Gregan off to Larkham. Big defence by Tane Randall. Well, the ball was there. And Gregan made no effort to go in after it. The referee's playing an advantage.
What is it now? Advantage, play the advantage.
Still playing the advantage. As the Wallabies fan out and wait for the next delivery from Gregan. Mark Connors. Advantage presumably still applies. As Herbert off to Jason Little.
Crossing, no advantage. Number 5.
Well, that time it was against Norm Maxwell. I don't know. The ball was there. He had a fair crack at it.
Well, I'm battling, quite frankly. It's almost as though Watson's got his eye on Norman Maxwell. Wayne Smith, being as astute as he is probably going to have to drag Maxwell and bring on Troy Flavel. Because I can't sort of understand, well, the 3 penalties against him have all been a mystery to me.
Todd, the word with your number 5, please. Okay. That was blatantly offside, the ruck under the sticks. Then we went that way, no advantage. It was here.
Official fails.
Yeah, I just spoke to him. I don't think it was professional, and I just spoke to him. It's okay, I'll handle it. John?
Well, it certainly wasn't professional. The ball looked like it was out. Tane Randall went through, and Norman Maxwell followed on his heels. I guess the question was whether the ball was actually out of the ruck.
Wallabies haven't been in front so far in the game, but this is their very best chance. Mortlock pushes it through, and it's 27 points to 24. Well, Andre Watson does come up with some pretty baffling decisions at times.
He's a bit of a wild card, no doubt about that. We've seen him referee games 70 minutes, great rugby, and then 10 minutes he's sort of lost the plot. Let's hope it doesn't affect today's match. Here's
Ron Cribb getting a chance to stretch his legs. Now Marshall into the gap. He's got players in support. He may not need them. Justin Marshall. What a terrific try. Welcome back to the All Blacks.
Well, we could say an individual's effort, strength, power, and enough speed to do the business. Justin Marshall, it's a great one to launch New Zealand back into this game. But Ron Cribb, beautiful little dummy, strength to hold the ball up. Now have a look, another dummy through the hole, just shrugged through that tackle, opened it up, stepped inside Latham, and planted it over the goal line. Well, that's what the boys in black needed. Ron Cribb runs so well, so comfortably with the ball in hand. No, it was a good answer. That's 4 tries apiece.
Well, Murray, Mr. Watson need no longer look at Norman Maxwell because he's just been replaced by Troy Flavel in jersey 20.
Good-looking kick. All Blacks take a 4-point advantage, and the Black supporters are up. 31 to 27 in this incredible match in Sydney.
Well, nobody really knows what's going to happen next. That's the fantastic thing about this game.
Kickoff is made. Troy Flavel is there at number 20. Blackadder has controlled it. Marshall is punching it downfield. Latham.
Get out of it.
Didn't have too many other options. Waiting for this is Anton Oliver, holding Latham at bay.
So New Zealand needing to string some phases together now. So that's one.
And some good fashion, vigorous racking going on, Norm Maxwell. And I'm sure that's right. Wayne Smith would have determined the penalty rate was too high.
Good stable scrum.
Randall takes the pass off Cribb. Good combination between the two. Marshall sends it wide for Mehrtens. Ieremia. Kronfeld is right there. Hand is out. Advantage for the All Blacks. Troy Flavel.
He was well stopped.
Now Mehrtens looks on the inside. Cullen's come right up into the line. And the All Blacks getting a good period with the ball in hand. Now Mehrtens away for Randall. He's had a top game, Tame Randall, as they get almost to the 10-metre line. Alatini, who made a very early impression in the game. All Blacks conscious of getting the ball to the ground smartly. Now Cullen comes in close. Well held by Jeremy Paul. Oliver. All Blacks displaying some patience here.
Which is exactly what's needed, not breaking the advantage line.
Mehrtens then goes with a little kick through, and Latham reads it beautifully. Gets away from a few. And finally it takes a tackle by Case Muse to knock him over.
12 blood. 12 blood. Take him off, please. Yep. 12 blood.
So the little kick through didn't come off for Andrew Mehrtens. Latham read it so well. It was his anticipation, really, and didn't he do well? He struck two. In fact, virtually struck three tackles. Desperately held by Case Muse. Tight head prop. Good effort. So Jason Little with a bit of the claret on display.
Yes, and Rod Kafer on straight away in jersey 17. Obvious blood bin here. Little's had a big game. They'll be wanting to rush him back if they possibly can.
Rod Kafer, who played at first five in this test last year. Larkham, of course, not available at the time with injury. Blackadder gets high. Another good throw from Oliver.
I've been impressed with Blackadder a number of times. He's gathered the ball, stolen back the ball that was rebounding, that time taking a good line out, which was badly needed. This is a good drive by New Zealand.
Good stuff from the All Black forwards. They went 15 metres. Now Marshall looking to probe round the fringes. Blackadder works it across to Mehrtens. Alatini. Lomu charging hard. Gets to the 10-metre line. And he's got them for offside too. And it's against David Giffin, number 4. And the All Blacks have come back very strongly in the second half after conceding the lead. And there's an opportunity here for Andrew Mehrtens. There's David Giffin. It is 20th test match.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd take this kick at goal. As we watch Justin Marshall once again probing around the outside. Well held, but he gave the pass. Yes. New Zealand, of course, a little bit of way on. Good for their confidence to have the ball in possession, to go through the phases. Of course, if Mehrtens misses this kick, it gives possession back to Australia, who haven't had a lot of it in the second half.
11 points so far in the match for Andrew Mehrtens. Closing in on Grant Fox's New Zealand all-time test record. Distance is okay. Direction is great. Penalty is made. And it's 34-27.
Well, when a goal's kicked like that, it certainly vindicates the choice of the captain. Take the 3 points. Opens a little 7-point gap. A little breather. Well, it's a pressure kick. It was a key kick.
Shocking kick from Larkham. They'll have to play at the Wallabies. The All Blacks can take the option. They'll go for the scrum, no doubt, in centre field.
Which gives their backs great opportunities on both sides of the scrum. And I'm sure they'll have a move work for, obviously, Wayne Smith being the first 5'8", loved moves, so every scrum in this sort of situation there'll be a move on.
3 one way, 3 the other. They're going out to the right with Alatini. Marshall looking for the support of Cribb and finds it. Umaga in there to help out. That's the halfway line. Now Marshall. They've come up very quickly, the Wallabies, bordering on offside once again.
That's that characteristic Alatini shimmy that got him through the advantage line.
Cullen hands it back inside to Blackadder. They really have come out in the second half and decided to hang on to this ball. As Randall grunts it up another metre or so. Mehrtens. Ieremia. Now it's Carl Hoeft to the halfway line. Just probing away, looking on the inside. And this time it's lost by Cribb. And all the hard work comes to nothing. It was a big tackle made on Ron Cribb, and he just lost control of the ball.
So New Zealand with several phases unable to really break over that advantage line. Good defence by Australia. Yes, the little mistake, so crucial. So that's quite surprising, really, when we see handling errors, 8 to Australia, 5 to New Zealand.
Change in the front row there. Richard Harry limping off. Glenn Panoho on jersey 21.
So plenty of Kiwis in the front row. Glenn Panoho, Jeremy Paul, both New Zealand born. Gregan for Latham. Herbert is met very, very strongly by Marshall. No beg your pardons at all in the tackling. Now Larkham away to Kafer. He's well held too.
And Kronfeld was in there too, like the loose forward he is, trying to snivel.
Kefu off to Connors. Now it's the Wallabies' turn to have a go at the All Blacks. Panoho gets a chance to stretch the legs, gets it back, and well, it was knocked straight down apparently. The All Blacks, I reckon, have got this though.
Turnover.
Great work on the ground. I suspect it was Kronfeld. Mehrtens' kick is beautifully controlled by Latham. Mehrtens gets back. They want to open it up straight away. That's an awful pass. Was it forward? That's the question. Apparently not. Well, referee says offside against Ron Cribb.
Standing in the middle. Okay.
So Tony Brown warming up. Well, the counter-attack was certainly on for Christian Cullen, but the pass was wayward.
Don't worry about this.
So let's see, where is Ron Cribb? Well, hard to understand that one actually. To me, like he was behind the last man's feet when the ball came out.
Stirling, Mortlock, 2 tries, 2 conversions, and a penalty already. Scored 29 points in the test against South Africa last week in Melbourne. Australia tonight, of course, going for their own personal record. They've won 10 in a row. They've never done 11 in a row. Behind at the moment, Stirling, Mortlock to try and reduce the gap. That's another one that's away. Still the 7-point advantage to the All Blacks after 18 minutes in the second half.
Well, interesting change too here from an All Black point of view. Tony Brown is poised now. Andrew Mehrtens looks like he's going to make the restart. Andrew Martin, the manager, is on the communication system to Wayne Smith upstairs.
Well, that would be an incredibly strategic change if Wayne Smith pulled this off. Of course, it would bring on a player who takes the ball to the opposition.
Mehrtens' kick is shallow, and it doesn't help the All Blacks much because Kefu is in control of this. Now Gregan, Larkham calling the shots out wide for Herbert. Enveloping tackle by Alatini. Now back for Joe Roff. Marshall's done an awful lot of tackling tonight as well. Gregan serves it up again for Larkham. Kefu. Tackle made by Cribb. Ball was knocked out and knocked forward on the tackle by Ron Cribb.
Okay, we'll go for the first one. We lost it.
And those are the sort of turnovers the All Blacks need. And it might just now, Smithy, be the chance to get Tony Brown on.
Well, they're trying their best to get him on, that is for sure. I just wonder, Murray, whether it's a defensive ploy more than anything else, because Gregan's little offloads mean that runners are running at Andrew Mehrtens more often than perhaps they're used to happening for that player to make the tackles that he should be making, and quite often they're getting through.
Mehrtens still there, kick charged. Goes out as far as Roff. Tronfeld's going to be penalised here as Jeremy Paul takes it up. Wallabies may not need the penalty. Now Gregan for Williams. Ball still there. Now George Gregan. Rod Kafer. All Black defence holding at the moment. Gregan. Kefu burrows in close. Kafer gets close to the line. And not coming back.
And I'm having a look at it.
They'll have to put a scrum down.
No, bunny trouble. We go for the scrum, thank you. That's short. Just here, just here.
Well, just how desperate are they now
In the middle.
to have Tony Brown out there, who's been stripped and ready to go for some time.
No fight. No ball, wait.
So great opportunity for Australia, centre field. So now what have they got? 4 backs on one side, 2 on the other. Close up of the front row, Glenn Panoho. And the crowd goes crazy. Well, it's a great scrum by New Zealand.
Terrific scrum.
That's the sort of
That's
thing.
up off the ground too. Well, he's gone against the All Blacks here, and Gregan's away again. Umaga snacks it up, but...
You're off your feet and you're holding on to the ball.
Well,
Number 8.
that one is an injustice.
Skip back.
First of all, New Zealand drove Australia back. Ball in possession, the ball was off the ground. The referee made a call to let it go to clear it,
On
which
your
they
feet,
did.
please. I don't want to go there.
And
On
then
your
the
feet,
loose
please.
pass.
Positive. You got it here? Yeah. Okay.
John Eales has the ball,
What's up?
and it's going to be Mortlock once more.
Got it? No. It's a penalty. Yeah, I got it. I got it.
So that was 100% legitimate. Very hard to see, actually.
This kick to bring the Wallabies to within 4 points of the All Blacks. Regulation for Stirling. Mortlock, through it goes.
Well, now the change will be made. They've tried 2 or 3 times to get Tony Brown out there. In fact, they tried to get him out there before that last tremendous scrum from the All Blacks, which suggests that maybe, yes, it is a defensive move. They want to tighten it up in close. Mehrtens is off.
"17 minutes remaining. Classic Bledisloe Cup encounter. Brown's first kick is a good one, a very good one. Wallabies though have it. Now Gregan. Larkham looking to get it wide. Roff, plenty of space here for the left winger. Cullen can't get him. Umaga can though. Big tackle from Tana. And it had to be made.
Well worked by Australia. Larkham firing the ball wide. Such a confident footballer. And the kick was spot on. Roff gathered. Beat Cullen on the outside. Slowed him down enough for Umaga to pull it off. And Alatini scrambled him to touch, but what a great opportunity here for Australia. Eales does the business.
Now the big shot from the Wallaby forwards. They've got it up off the ground. The All Blacks have to be careful they don't drag it down. Gregan off the Larkham, chips it through. Umaga wins the race. Wallabies reckoned that there was an obstruction there, but the referee said no way.
So Cromfeld drifting. Watch this. The kick goes. Yes, well, I think Cromfeld took Larkham at the same time he kicked the ball, so there's nothing wrong with that. I think Larkham's must have caught a knee or something. So Tony Brown, that's a sensational tactical ploy by Wayne Smith. Playing a key role at first 5/8, of course. You change a key player and it affects the role of the game. The roll of the dice, shall we say. Which way will the dice land? That is the question. Well, he started the right way. He came on and he drop kicked out absolutely perfectly. New Zealand unable to win it. And now the long kick.
Brown gets rid of it. Larkham is still not in the play. All Blacks charge in over the top of this, but still the Wallabies have it through Chris Latham. Tony Brown will enjoy and relish the tackling for sure. Now Rod Kafer slips it nicely to Roff. Wallabies having a good period here. The All Blacks struggling to get their hands on it. Now they might get a chance. The ball went back though. Latham playing right in there. Kafer kicks behind Umaga, and in the end it's a good result for the All Blacks.
Well, it's a good result if they can win their line-out ball. So the pressure's on whoever's calling the tune in the line-outs. Where is the preferred jumper? Where is New Zealand's jumper? Which one is likely to get the ball? So Blackadder's being marked by Connors and Eales, I think.
Andrew Walker looks on, not required as yet. The All Blacks have given away height, of course, and Blackadder has done a terrific job in the second half. Losing Maxwell, probably one of the shorter All Black lineouts of all time in this second spell, as Marshall hands it off to Brown. Alatini does well to hang on in the finish.
He does. A knock on there and a turnover would have been crucial. So New Zealand with possession.
They've still got it. Brown pushing back.
One thing about Brown, he knows how to take it up and set it up.
Marshall. Oh, I think he's hit it too hard. Yes, he has.
Now Marshall made that decision to kick. So often those decisions are made by the first 5/8. Mehrtens would have been calling for the ball perhaps.
Well, Jason Little is trying to get back onto the park for the Wallabies. He's wearing green headgear now. It's a number of stitches above his left eye, and Rod Kafer leaves.
So here it is, the game evenly poised. Wallaby throwing the line out with a split line out.
Kelleher out there too, Smithy.
Yeah, Justin Marshall, his part of the game is over. Last kick. They left Kafer touchline because they're very worried still about Stephen Larkham and his right knee. In fact, Kafer has gone out, and it's Daniel Herbert coming off.
So the war of attrition.
There's some sore bodies, I can tell you.
Well, there's been no quarter given in this game. There's been a bit of everything.
David Giffin. Now it's Gregan off to Roff. All Blacks read that move very easily. Larkham, he looks okay again. Oh, welcome back to Jason Little. He's been smashed in the tackle. Now Gregan. Latham back into the heavy stuff. But they've managed to hang on to it. They're only 5 metres out from the 22 here. Larkham sets them going again. Kafer slips it to Little. Gregan delivers again for Larkham. They've got a bit of an overlap here, but Latham carries on. Held up by Cribb. And Lomu gets it back. And away goes the big guy. Out wide. Takes them all on and makes a good 25 metres.
Well, even I can hear Jonah from the commentary box. He wants a pair of shorts. Well, he outran Kefu on the outside. And see the defence here. That's Jeremy Paul, I think. Well, he was gang tackled. Gives Australia a chance for possession. John Eales, marvellous.
Straight, wrong way, no advantage.
Not straight.
What do you want?
And Jonah will get the chance to put the shorts on.
So the heat is on. 10 minutes remaining in this game. The heat is on. The heat's been on the whole game. I'd hate Jonah to be trying to put on a size 32 pair of shorts here. That would be bizarre, wouldn't it?
Well, they'll do.
Remember the old days when the All Blacks used to wear jock straps underneath shorts?
Yes, where's modesty gone? Everyone used to gather around Murray, didn't they? Here's Cribb off the back. Good powerful charge here by Ron Cribb. Having a strong second half. Kelleher.
Kelleher running into a handful of trouble. Where's the ball? That's the key.
It's there for Flavel. Surveys the options. All Blacks just trying to suck one or two of those fringing players in. Well, I don't think Andre Watson saw that. And he must have got a call from the touch.
Well, you can see the pressure, the tension, the hand by the face, the heart in the mouth.
There's not another move in terms of substitutions because Mark Hammett on jersey 22 for Anton Oliver.
No ball. I haven't seen him work.
That only leaves Leon McDonald, I think, Smithy.
Okay.
Yes, I wouldn't think he'd be too far away either. He's been up and about, keeping nice and warm. And of course, Craig Dowd's still waiting here too in this boat.
That's right, of course. So 5 subs made by Wayne Smith. Oh, just about, yes it is. Oh, hang on, Andre.
That's up. That's up. Hang on.
What's the call here?
Well, it has to go to New Zealand.
Just move out. Come on, everybody. Too many of us now.
He's given it back to the Wallabies by the looks of things. No, he hasn't. So that's what a start for Mark Hammett.
I think he realised he'd made a mistake, actually. He called it as the scrum came up. The ball had already been won by New Zealand.
Tipping it through is Kelleher. Latham has been in position all night. Cribb gets across, shakes off one, and away goes Ron Cribb. Held it up nicely. Kelleher, big pass, midfield Ieremia. Randall, good pace, slips it to Hammett. Loses control of it. Recovered by Rod Kafer. 10-metre line, Wallabies territory. And now Little shovels it on for Kefu. Haven't got many there, the Wallabies, at the moment. Now they're starting to arrive. Up the middle goes Mortlock. Slips it beautifully to Latham. Forward pass to Eales. He reckons it went back. Now Roff. 10-metre line, All Black territory. Settling it down. Jeremy Paul at half pace. Gregan slings it wide. Larkham. And running out of mates over there. The All Blacks have got numbers there. They should win it. And in fact they did, but they threw it out.
Well, our turnover is so crucial. The spilled pass from Mark Hammett with the counter-attack from New Zealand. And since then the Wallabies have had the ball so near to losing control. They just hung on. And they're still in possession now. 7 minutes remaining. Far touchline.
What a big moment for Andrew Walker. Test debut. First year back in rugby.
Yes, and he's on for Stirling Mortlock.
Out to the right wing side goes Andrew Walker. Seven minutes left. What a test match it's been. Eales dominant again in the lineouts. Larkham slings it across to Little. Breaks down the midfield. Little has to get it back for Gregan. George Gregan up the middle. Now has he got any support from Jeremy Paul? They'll close him down. 7 metres out. Gregan. Larkham. They go short to Kefu. All Blacks desperate defence again. Out wide. Try scored by Jeremy Paul.
Well, it was a great try. Australia in possession, that's the key. Stretching the All Black defence. Georgie Gregan through the middle. Miraculous break, really. The faces say it all of the New Zealand players. Look at this break. How did he get through? He was held in the tackle by Ron Cribb and somehow he got away. The little fella got away. Through the big wide pass, which should have been enough. It was great defence by Christian Cullen and Mark Hammett. But here it was, the width of the pass from Kafer. So smart, so much vision. They had to have them stretched, very stretched. Jonah caught just inside too much. Could hardly blame him though. There were 3 on 2, I think. So that's a great try at a crucial moment.
And a change 2 for the Wallabies at the back of the scrum. Jim Williams, what a big game he's had. Been replaced by Troy Jaques in jersey 20.
Haven't seen Andrew Walker in the goal-kicking role much, although during Super 12 he landed 1 penalty for the Brumbies. Won't come round. 1 point ball game, 35-34. And the All Blacks have about 6 minutes. Highest score the Wallabies have ever registered against the All Blacks. And they're back in possession. That was one the All Blacks needed. Walker kicks and he's given possession away. Now, was that a wise decision? Here comes Cullen. Umaga steaming down the right. Terrific tackle on him. Cullen's got it back. Now Kelleher. All Blacks will give it plenty in this last 4 or 5 minutes. Tony Brown has a crack. Josh Kronfeld to the 10-metre line. Looking to split them up the middle. And then they can get it wide. They've gone for the kingpin. Lomu, he's away from Walker. He's away from a few of them. Ron Cribb is there. Good loose forward work from Cribb. They go to the 22. Now they've got a chance. Brown, they've got to spread it. Flavel went straight up the middle. They've still got the numbers to the right if they can get it there. Here they come. Brown to Randall. Ball knocked down. And it'll be a line out. It came off the leg. The All Blacks still have a big chance.
Well, it was a great play by New Zealand. Randall doing everything right, trying to get that pass away. Have a look at this. He threw the hole. He tried to get the pass. It would have been in front of the man. Fantastic. Umaga would have been hard to stop that close to the line. Didn't quite make it. The hand got in the way. But what a great position. What a great opportunity. New Zealand gathering round as a forward pack. Talking no doubt about where the line-out throw will go. Here it is, 2 metres out from the goal line. Couple of minutes remaining on the clock. It's the crucial one. The ball has to be taken in 2 hands. It has to be driven over. That's my pick anyway. That's what I'm calling.
Big throw for Mark Hammett.
Nisbo, how are you feeling? I'm fired up. Hey, Smithy, how's it going?
Probably can't hear you. The throw's not good. Crucial mistake. Wallaby's still got some work to do. They'll have another go at it. It's a bit further out, though.
Yes, it's a different one, this one, because it's about 12 metres out. 13 metres out, perhaps. Harder one to drive over, but the lineouts have to be right. Probably one of the weakest areas in this test match has been lineouts for New Zealand. Possession.
They go short. Oh, that's no good either. Todd Blackadder felt that he was interfered with there. Now this is an out. So Umaga can counter-attack with his mate Cullen. Big defence, so Cullen's got the strength to stay up for long enough. Now Umaga bowls straight ahead. They've still got to run it 40-odd metres, though, the All Blacks. They've got some obvious strengths out wide, and Lomu seems to have the measure of Andrew Walker. Now they come again. They've got numbers once more. Troy Flavel. Supports there from Case Muse. Frenetic ending to the game. 2.5 minutes for the All Blacks. Now Brown to Alatini, short to Ieremia, right in centre field. Kelleher. Randall pops up to Lomu. Here we go. Can he make it? You betcha! You betcha! Jonah's in.
Well, it had to be the ultimate moment in this game, and it's been a game of moments for sure. Jonah Lomu, some may say, the ultimate rugby player, with a game after his name, finished the deal loud and clear. What a pass. Randall pass. Lomu can't catch me. He's just too strong, too big. And what a way to finish the game. What a game of rugby this has been. Exceptional. It will go down in my mind as the greatest I think I've seen. All 109,874 people, world record crowd.
Poetry in motion. Jonah Lomu. And now Tony Brown. This for 100 test points. And it's away. The Wallabies still have a chance, but it's under a minute. 39 to 35.
And I watched the players as they sprint across the field. The kick's going to be taken on the other side to where the New Zealand forward pack was lined out. They're sprinting as though they haven't had 80 minutes of passion, pressure, intensity.
It won't go 10 metres. So that'll just about do it.
Be scrum on halfway, New Zealand ball.
And they won't rush to have it either, I wouldn't imagine.
And in that All Black scrum will be Craig Dowd on a jersey 21 for Carl Hoff.
Extraordinary, actually. That makes Craig Dowd the most capped New Zealand prop of all time with Olo Brown. So congratulations, Craig Dowd.
Big clock shows 12 seconds. Ron Cribb slips it to Tane Randall.
And haven't they been good together, Randall and Cribb?
Kelleher slips it back for Hammett. All Blacks just killing time as best they can. There goes the hooter. They want someone to boot it out, surely. Tony Brown takes it down.
I don't know, this game could have anything.
And a little nudge forward. And All Blacks still trying to run it forward. It's been knocked on. That's the game, though. An unbelievable test match in front of a world record crowd. The All Blacks have got home 39-35.
Well, I see the excitement, the despair also in the Wallaby camp, but every man and his dog have experienced a fantastic occasion here today. What a game. It had everything. It had 9 magnificent tries, 10 magnificent tries. It had a record crowd. It had some very good refereeing. It had some great movements up and down the game. It had some very bad refereeing. It had some sensational moments. It had everything, this game. What a start to the tri-series.
It had 10 tries, and the All Blacks are still live in the Bledisloe Cup. They've still got to win the return bout in Wellington, but they've set it up. 24-0 they led, 24 all at half-time. Then they got it out to 34-27. The Wallabies came back and led 35-34. And then Jonah Lomu scored the match winner.
But a fantastic fight back.
Yeah, thanks, Porto. It was a good fight back. It was an incredible game of rugby, but you know, unfortunately we're on the losing end of that one. We have to take stock and really get back into it in a couple of weeks' time.
So after 5 minutes, you know, what did you say to the guys out there really sunk by the All Blacks?
Well, I mean, it was a terrible start, probably the worst start we've ever been involved in, but we knew that it wasn't so much because of our bad play. They were very opportunistic in what they did it very well. But we just stayed calm. It was great composure within the team to come back, lead, have a chance, and then to throw it away at the end. That's very disappointing, but there's a lot of positives to come out of that.
Well, world record crowd here, just an incredible performance by all players out there. A super game of rugby.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you can hope to see a better game of rugby than that, but that doesn't make it any easier to lose.
All right, John, thanks very much, and on behalf of everyone here, just thanks for such a great game.
Thanks, Simon.
Obviously disappointed John Eales, but the Wallabies led until the last 2 minutes. And now trying to track down Todd Blackadder, not easy. The All Blacks doing a victory lap, if you like. And here he is with Chris Andy.
How do you feel?
Oh, I'm so delighted, mate. I'm just so pleased that we started so strongly, and Australia, to their credit, came back really well. And we really had to fight for everything out here tonight. And it was just so close. It could have gone either way, but I'm glad our guys really gutsed it out. And some great tries out there.
It looked like it was one of the greatest test matches of all time from the sideline. Yeah. How did it feel on there?
Yeah, it was a really white-hot atmosphere, and the guys are just breaking the line from both sides the whole time. And I think we're really lucky. I'm just so proud of our guys. I mean, the effort that was put in tonight was sensational.
What's this do for the people at home? Are the All Blacks back?
Oh, we're just really proud to be wearing the All Black jersey, and we wear it with great pride. And we do it for all of New Zealand, and we really mean that. Every time we pull our jersey on, we're doing it for our country.
Well, cheers. We'll see you in Wellington in a few weeks' time.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Yes, one of the all-time great test matches, no doubt about that. 5 tries apiece, but the All Blacks stay alive in the Bledisloe Cup, and they've